personally for me, I try not to overwhelm the universe with too many Easter eggs. I don't want to, because for two reasons. Number one, I want people to be able to read Malika or EX or Windmaker or Iyano on its own and enjoy it, and not have to pick up all the other books to enjoy one book. Welcome to the YouNeek Show, where we talk about all things YouNeek Studios, African geekdom, and the business of creators. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the YouNeek Show. My name is Roye Okupe. I am the CEO and founder and lead writer at YouNeek Studios. Co-host, introduce yourself.
I also have many titles, but I'll just go with the guy from the Nigerian Nerds who's a fan of YouNeek Studios. What's going on? My name is Jay Abaje. How's everyone doing?
I guess they can't answer until they see this, so I'll answer for
That's
them.
why
We're
we have
doing we're
comments
doing
down
good. Oh
below.
yeah,
Why
right,
you
yeah,
don't
right.
type your answer below?
Yeah, let us know how your week is going. But yeah, what are we here to talk about today, Mr.
Now,
J?
this one is great. Today, this is another one of our State of the Union episodes where we talk about what's happening in YouNeek Studios, right? And all the
Yes,
work.
sir.
So, we're going to be talking about the connected YouNeek universe. And
Yep.
we're going to be talking about something you may have seen on social media. Iano Volume 2 is out. And like I was saying, Roy, earlier, don't
Yes.
forget Volume 1, but Volume 2 is out now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So yeah, we'll talk about Yanu in a bit, but I think one of the things I wanted to touch on a little bit is just the connected universe.
Yep.
And that's universe spelled with YOUNI.
Yeah, you got to
VE.
brand it all.
I know, right?
You got to brand it all.
As I was spelling it, I was forgetting. I forgot the spelling, so that's why I slowed down a
Big
little
old
bit.
universe t-shirt.
Yeah, soon. That's coming soon. But yeah, this is something that obviously, personally, I've been working ever since I decided that I wanted to do comics or just stories in general. I've always admired the MCU, obviously, and I wanted to do something similar, but from an African perspective, and that's why I started writing the YouNeek Universe, and everything started with EXO. But I've been very careful to keep these different titles, EXO, Malika, Windmaker, Iyanu, very separate, even though they are in the same world. Their stories are onto themselves, because I want people to be able to fall in love with these characters outside of whatever they may be doing with other characters. But now that Dark Horse have, I think we've released with Iyanu now, I think we're at 6 or 7 books out. Now that we have Iyanu Volume 2, Windmaker obviously was before that, and now Windmaker Volume 2 is the next title that will be coming out in February, I believe. People are starting to see the seeds that were sown early on start to manifest, and see these characters starting to pop up in different places. I think Malika is the one that she's shown up in EXO. And now with the Yano Volume 2, we're getting to see, not in a grand way, but we're getting to see what sort of spawned this universe of heroes. Because Yano obviously is the one that's furthest back as well. So yeah, it's really cool to start to see it all coming together. It's been a lot of work, and I dive deeper into the divine ones, who are the thread that sort of like holds everything together. But yeah, just excited for people to see what's to come.
So one of the things I find fascinating about connected universes in general, right? Whether it's multiple books within like the Star Wars universe and
Right.
all those fan fiction, fan stories, fans expanded universe,
Yeah.
or you're dealing with something that's more established now and grand as the MCU, is
Yeah.
how the creators are thinking so far ahead. They're planting little nuggets,
Yeah.
those scenes.
Yeah.
Are there any things that you've already put that people can look at from the books that are already out there, but your mind thinks, pay attention to this, it might be important, it might be cool?
Yeah, there's actually a lot. And honestly, there's stuff that you would not recognize
Until the Easter egg
probably
pops up or something.
yeah, no, I mean, there are things that are there that as I'm putting them, I'm laughing at people that are reading, because I'm like, you guys don't know where this is going, and it's fun to do that, but it takes a lot of very careful planning. And personally for me, I try not to overwhelm the universe with too many Easter eggs. I
Mm,
don't want to,
okay.
because for two reasons. Number one, I want people to be able to read Malika or EX or Windmaker or Iano on its own and enjoy it, and not have to pick up either all the other books to
Mm,
enjoy one book. But I would say that if when you read all these books, you get to, it's almost like icing on the cake, right? Like the cake itself is the nice part of the cake, but the icing is very tasty. It's like
mm,
it's very sweet. Um, but that's the approach that I take. But yeah, there's things that one thing I'll say is pay attention to the Olonjin. They showed up in Malika. I
mm,
would say pay attention to them because they play a very small role in Malika. You also see them in the Windmaker,
right.
and it's setting up um a huge conflict within the universe itself that all these characters may or may not have to be involved in.
That makes sense. And I
Yeah,
think another factor that plays a role in this world, it's a world that's both tech and supernatural, but
exactly.
it seems like the connective tissue is the supernatural, or it has to do with the element of fate, powers above us guiding, guarding, planning, and interfering in our lives. So let's talk about that because I think that's what we're going to get into the
Yeah,
role that the divine ones
yeah,
themselves
yeah,
play. Let's look
yeah.
at that. How did you come up with the idea to go in that direction? Like, what was your driving force to say, okay, you know what? Let's use the divine ones as the factors that will make things move forward.
Yeah, I've always been a huge fan of pantheons, whether that's Greek, whether that's Norse,
Mm,
Egyptian, and like I'm always fascinated with these kind of mythological, deities and the role that they played in each culture's like mythological stories. Like that to me, that's always been a huge interest for me. And obviously Yoruba has the Orisha, and they have their own very, very intricate and interesting pantheon of deities. So I wanted to create one that was unique to the YouNeek universe, pun intended. And I wanted to do it in a way where you had these gods that existed, and all of a sudden they vanished for no reason. And a lot of the mystery around the YouNeek universe is figuring out why the divine ones came and why they left all of a sudden. And the point that you made about supernatural and tech being part of the universe is also very intentional. I love to find the sweet spot between magic and technology.
mhm.
I think to me, I mean, I can't remember who said that, magic is technology that we haven't discovered yet or something like that. There's a saying that goes that way. That has always fascinated me. So everything that you see in the universe that, whether in Malika you see her with a magic sword or whatever, it's probably just tech that I haven't explained yet. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where the juxtaposition of magic and tech for me is really fun to infuse in this universe. Even with EXO that started off very, very heavily sci-fi, when you get to the later volumes, especially in the Dark Horse Volume 2
Mhm.
of EXO, you
Yeah,
see that his suit isn't just tech. Like there's supernatural elements that were involved in creating the suit. And I think it's just fascinating to be able to read and see, okay, you can explain this with science, but then the suit does something else that is so supernatural that it's like, oh, okay, where is this going? And it's
right.
that push and pull between reality, and supernatural reality, and just the regular technology, and how these things keep balancing. But the divine ones, like I said, they're the overarching umbrella above this universe. And the war that they had, the divine wars, which happened like 10,000 BC in our time,
Mhm.
is everything that has happened in the universe since then is sort of like an echo of that war.
Right.
And we're getting to now, like I said, as we get deeper into volumes 2 and volumes 3 of these different titles, we're getting deeper into those echoes, and we're starting to see a lot of the different, oh sorry, as my TV comes on in the background, was trying to see a lot of different manifestations of that one. Now with the Yan Volume 2, which is why I felt comfortable to talk about this, you get to see deeper what the role that the divine ones play in the YouNeek universe as a whole.
Interesting, that whole interaction of tech and supernatural, spiritual, and the fact that in some way they themselves are pretty fallible. Like they may be higher
Exactly.
level characters, but they're
Yeah.
still characters. They have their own squabbles. They're supposed to be good, they're bad,
Yeah.
they're gray areas. Really interesting approach that you're taking with them, um,
Yeah.
as personalities, as characters,
Yeah. I mean, they still just be. I mean, I've always been very fascinated with otherworldly beings, that have these flaws. Like if you look at, especially the DC universe, right? They have some very, very powerful. I mean, you're talking about Superman, talking about Dark Side. Like, the DC universe has one of the most powerful ensemble of heroes and villains, but
Mhm.
then these characters make very human mistakes.
Yeah.
I think that's when Superman is written the best, is when with all these powers you can still see him as a flawed person.
Mhm.
I think that's what makes Superman interesting, because obviously, like, he's just so powerful and you can just do anything he wants. But when you give him certain character flaws, or when you pit him against somebody like Lex Luthor, who uses his mind to outsmart and outwit Superman, it becomes very interesting. So you see a lot of similarities with the Divine Ones, where they have otherworldly powers. They're essentially gods of this universe, but
Mhm.
their flaws have essentially the um set the tone for what would eventually become, what's it, centuries, not centuries, what's a thousand years is what,
A millennium.
millennia. Yeah,
Yeah.
millennia. Oh my god, my
Yeah.
head, just like your computer was booting this morning, my brain is booting. Sets millennia, sets the tone for millennia of
Yeah.
war and strife and
Yeah.
so many different things that birth the need for heroes to emerge in the unique universe.
I can tell you that the way you tap into that and tie that back to, and again, something you do all the time, right? Tying
Yeah,
it back to Yoruba culture,
exactly.
tying it back to those African themes that
Yeah,
are prevalent in,
yeah,
to be honest, every African culture,
yeah,
about how there's a higher power at play. And that
yeah,
higher power, sometimes you don't always understand their motives, right?
exactly.
Is the
Yeah,
motive of this higher power for my good, or am I
yeah,
just a pawn?
yeah,
Is the motive of this higher power, is this higher power actually all powerful, or am I being tricked by somebody or something that just knows a little bit more than me, just a little bit more, and I can beat that thing myself?
yeah.
These
No,
kinds of concepts are really fascinating to think about, scary sometimes, but I think it's great to see what you're going to do with that in the unique universe as we spin
yeah,
through it.
and just really quick to that point, because I think you hit the nail on the head. One of the things that, for people that haven't read the books, the Divine was essentially guardians that were sent to the unique universe, to our world,
Mm,
to sort of like help humanity out of what we call the age of darkness and usher them into an age of wonders. An age
mm,
of wonders in the books is where, humanity had these supernatural marvels and technology and spirituality, and
mhm.
everything was all well and good, but the divine ones were not there to be worshipped. Essentially, they were here to guide and protect and to mentor humanity. And with that, it's funny that, like, in the story, and this isn't a spoiler, this is just what sets up the universe, is that when they come and they give humanity this age of wonders, then it becomes humanity is at peace and they have everything that they want, but we are so inherently flawed that we start to fight each other,
Mm,
right? When everything is good and there's nobody externally to fight, because the divine ones came to save humanity from certain spiritual forces that were trying to destroy Yoruba land at that time. And once they helped humanity now not having anybody to fight, decided to fight themselves. But
yeah,
because the divine ones were there as guardians, they couldn't interfere in the affairs of men, and so the age of wonder sort of recessing, so excuse me, going back into an age of darkness. And again, like, there's this push and pull of free will versus, should the people that are powerful take away the will of humanity? But then again, that defeats the purpose of free will. But should we really have free will? Taking away free will, would that solve issues? So it's this very, very intricate cycle of choices and decisions that go back and forth between humanity and the divine ones, and what the outpour and the what's the word, like the effects of those decisions, what they cause for the universe as a whole moving forward. So yeah, very, very, a lot of very dynamic and intricate things happened throughout the course of the Divine Ones that set the tone for what we see in the YouNeek universe in these different phases.
Which circles back to Iyanu Volume 2. Why? Because clearly you've already hinted me at this. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but the Divine Ones themselves, they
Yeah.
connect Iyanu Volume 2 to the larger YouNeek universe. And
Yes.
I think in a very interesting way, some of the things you're trying to do with this are going to really delve into some deeper themes.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why the book is already, how do we put this? It's already being recognized.
Yeah. It's already been recognized.
It's already being recognized. When I first heard about the Nomo Award,
Yeah.
I remember my brain thought, Nomu? What
It's like no more.
like is this are we talking about, My Hero Academia here?
Yeah,
What's
that's
going
actually
on?
that was what I was going to say. Like for people that watch the show, you know what that means.
But the Nomo Award is actually it's a literary award.
Yeah.
It's from the I think it's the Speculative Fiction Society.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. They do a lot of good work. They have an actual award recognizing creative works done by Africans. And there's a number of categories, and Iyanu is one of the contenders. So,
Yeah, so Iyanu won the award for best graphic novel at the Nomo Awards, Iyanu Volume 2.
Yay!
Yeah, so it's very exciting. And this is coming off Iyanu Volume 1 being nominated for the Dwayne McDuffie Diversity Award. So it's clear that the Iyanu series is making a lot of impact. Obviously, there's the HBO Max and Cartoon Network animated series in development. So I mean, personally, I'm very humbled, and I'm really happy that people are gravitating towards the series as a whole, and it just shows that book 1 wasn't a fluke, and that book 2 sort of like continues the excellence that we were able to put out with book 1. So I encourage anybody, if you've gotten volume 1, volume 2 is a must read. But if you haven't gotten either of them, now would be a great time to get volume 1 and volume 2, and obviously before the HBO Max animated series comes out in the future. But yeah,
it's really cool to see how, I mean, over the years, there's always been Nigerians representing in that space, right? Winning, and this year I think there's 2 of you that are there for the graphic novel space. But it's really cool to see. Congratulations to you, congratulations to Godwin as well.
Yes,
right,
definitely.
Godwin Akpan, artist extraordinaire, guy who's working on the Iyanu Volume 2. And really thrilled to see what else comes, any further awards that show up, honestly.
No, I mean, it's really, like I said, it's humbling, and it feels good to be recognized for good work.
You're in good company, man. You're in good company.
I know it is very good company.
Wale Talibi, C. Davis,
the
legendary Nedio Okorafor.
Exactly. It's very, very good company.
A whole
very good company.
A whole bunch of great people there.
So if you haven't checked out the books, I hope that's enough.
Yes, for those of you who are actually snobs, you can go read an award-winning.
I know, right? Yeah. So no, it's really good stuff. And some more fun news. Like we're also Iyanu Volume 3 actually has been completed and sent to Dark Horse. So we are, we keep pushing on.
As we say,
on the
Iyanu end.
No time. I know, right?
No time.
That's
awesome.
Yep.
Well, on that note, we actually don't have any more time. We're going to wrap things up here, but this was great. Let's tell the fans what else they can expect that's coming, but they can all track. They can look for you and look for more of this work at the YouNeek Studios website. They can also look up YouNeek Studios on social media, follow, stay in touch, make sure they're aware of what's coming. That way, no one says, "Oh, I didn't know." No, you knew. You knew.
Yeah, I mean, YouNeekStudios.com, at YouNeek Studios on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and whatever social media comes out tomorrow, it would be on there as well too. But make sure, like Malika Volume 1, 2, EXO Volume 1 and 2, Iyanu Volume 1 and 2, Windmaker Volume 1, all these books are out there now, in stores and online everywhere books are sold.
Well, you can find me at Nuru the Nerd Guru. You can also find me at the Niger Nerds. And this has been great. Catch you all later.
Peace out, guys.